What you need to know about sober living homes in Orange County. Have you ever noticed a home in your neighborhood with maybe a bunch of cars in the driveway, lots of different adults coming and going, and wonder, what kind of setup is this? In Orange County and pretty much all of Southern California, there's a good chance this is what's called a sober living home. And before we jump to conclusions, let's keep it real. We all know someone who's struggled with addictions. And these homes can be a part of someone's healing journey, which is important. But if one pops up next door to you, you might have questions. And you should. Hi, I'm Kellie Martinez, your Orange County Insider. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the OC. Sober living homes, also called rehab houses, recovery residences, group homes, transitional housing, or halfway houses, are meant to help people in early sobriety adjust to regular life again. They're not treatment centers. Think of them more like shared housing for people committed to staying clean. Usually it's following an inpatient program. They often have curfews, random drug testing, and house rules, but they're typically not licensed or regulated the way that medical rehab centers are. And in Southern California, let's talk about Orange County. They're everywhere. We're a recovery hub. There's great weather, lots of rehab facilities, and a strong network of aftercare options. That makes Orange County a natural fit for sober living homes. But it's not just about recovery, it's also about real estate investing. Some investors see dollar signs. Hey, if I rent this house out by the room, $1,200 per room times 6 or 8 rooms, I'm making way more than I would renting to a single family. So they remodel, they rebuild with that purpose in mind. And they add more bedrooms. More bedrooms, more money. More bedrooms, more bathrooms, parking, you name it. Sometimes they do it quietly. Sometimes the neighborhood finds out, and when they do, things can get complicated. There are countless stories where neighbors have petitioned against a new sober living home, especially if it wasn't disclosed or it violated zoning codes. And I've talked to investors who say, don't do it. It's too much liability, too much turnover, too much legal red tape, and the drama, too much. Okay, let's talk about one of the most tragic incidents tied to a residential detox setting that I've ever heard. In August 2021, a 23-year-old checked into a group detox home in Newport Beach to get him help with addiction. But in the early morning hours, he left the facility and began experiencing what staff described as hallucinations. He had told them he was seeing and hearing demons. It was around 4:10 a.m. He mistakenly entered the backyard of a nearby home and then went to another house a few doors down. He banged on the front door, rang the doorbell, and ultimately forced his way inside, breaking the door down and heading up the stairs. The homeowner, who had been asleep with his wife, woke up to the noise. He grabbed his gun, warned the man to stop and identify himself. When the man didn't respond and continued advancing up the stairs, the homeowner fired a single shot. This man was hit in the chest and died at the scene. The district attorney later cleared the homeowner, stating he acted in self-defense, and called the situation absolutely tragic, which it is. What makes this even more heartbreaking is that this man had gone to the group home to get help. And according to the DA, the staff at the home knew he was struggling, but nobody followed or checked on him after he had left the facility. This raises a tough but real question. Is this a halfway house issue, or could this happen anywhere? The truth is, addiction affects people in every zip code, but when group homes are placed in residential neighborhoods with minimal oversight, it can put both residents and neighbors in vulnerable positions. That home wasn't the only one on the street. There were multiple sober living houses nearby, and that incident raised a lot of questions, a lot of awareness about safety, oversight, and what happens when a house meant to help becomes a source of concern for the community. I checked with the first responder about this because, let's be honest, they get the 911 calls, they're the ones showing up. What's their advice? Okay, a few things. First off, install a doorbell camera. Know who's inside before opening the door. And even one step further, there's a doorbell camera and then a door camera. Outdoor lighting. Motion lights are simple but effective. And I love this one the most. Build a relationship with the home operator if possible. Communication goes such a long way. Let's break down 5 things neighbors typically worry about. 1. Overcrowding. These homes aren't just housing a family of 4, a family of 5. They might have 6 to 10 adults living there. Number 2, smoking and loitering. Many residents smoke and they're usually outside doing it. Not just during the day, but at night too. The smell, the noise, the cigarette butts, it can add up. It can definitely be a disturbance. Number 3, parking overload. With that many people and often no garages in use, because it's probably a bedroom, street parking becomes a real issue. Number 4, noise and activity, all different hours, different work schedules, different therapy sessions, people coming and going. It can feel like a revolving door, which isn't always appreciated by neighbors. 5, relapse risk. Recovery isn't linear. Some residents struggle, and unfortunately, relapse can look like police visits, disturbances, or even danger, like the Newport Beach story. Look, I am not here to spark fear. I'm here to share facts. Sober living homes can absolutely help people rebuild their lives. And as a community, we want that. But if one moves into your neighborhood, it's okay to ask questions and expect transparency. And no matter who lives next door, please be kind, stay curious, and know your neighbors. It makes every community stronger. For all things Orange County, reach out. I'm here for it. And let me know, how do you feel about sober living facilities near your house?